time, 'cause there will be a time. Oh, oh.
Hey guys, welcome on in to another episode of Getting Well with Terry and Friends, free NHL picks. I'm Terry, ready to break down the slate for Monday, February 19th. Of course, we have a bunch of afternoon games on Monday, and I jumped on some lines as soon as they were released. And there's some pretty good spots for Monday's slate, and there's some totals that are not right in my mind. So I'm filled with totals for Monday, which is not usually I'm much more of a sides better, but the totals are calling my name for Monday. So before we get into that, quickly jump into looking at what happened on Friday and Saturday. Starting with this game here, Carolina Hurricanes, Arizona Coyotes, 5-1 win for the Hurricanes. Nice and simple, exactly what I wanted to happen. So that was a excellent game on Friday. Unfortunately, the AHL probably won't be betting it for a while. I dip my toes in here and there. Providence, after dominating Bridgeport for a long time, 9 of the 10 games they played this season, ended up losing this game. And unfortunately, Iowa lost to Texas. Richie tried to warn me, but I didn't listen. So that's it for the AHL. Going to focus with NHL. Things have been going pretty well. Here in this game, LA Kings, Boston Bruins. The Bruins blew a late lead in this game. LA coming back to win 5-4 in overtime. High scoring game. Big win for LA, who play again, who are going to be playing here in about half hour. So we'll see how they do there. Edmonton Oilers, Dallas Stars. Dallas Stars money line, unfortunately, another overtime game where I was on the wrong side. The Edmonton Oilers getting the overtime win, but Mason Marchment, he is one of my new favorite player props recently. He is on a nice streak. Bring it up here. We'll talk about it too when we get to that game, but he has a point now in 9 straight games, and I believe it's been 2 or 3 now that I've been cashing in on him. Plus 115. I couldn't believe the price. So a nice winner there. Ottawa Senators, Chicago Blackhawks. Didn't have any single plays on the show. As I said on the show, on Saturday's show, and as I'm saying again, check the spreadsheet in the link in the description below, because I did add Philip Kurashev over half a point for minus 110, and he got 2 points for the Blackhawks. So I did end up getting a winner there. Did sprinkle go with Kachuk and Claude Giroux. Those didn't cash, but got Philip Kurashev in that game. Red Wings Flames pretty much passed in this game. 5-0 win for the Red Wings. I was kind of leaning that way. Calgary is one of those teams that I want to fade going forward. Nashville Predators, St. Louis Blues. This game made me really happy. Obviously, as a Wild fan, and we'll get to the standings here after the recap. As a Wild fan, I wanted St. Louis to lose. So I think the Nashville Predators, a nice 5-2 win there. They got the empty net goal to make it 5-2. So nice winner there instead of a push. The Florida Panthers, Tampa Bay Lightning. I've been singing a lot of praises toward this Florida Panthers team for a while now. Thursday night, but on Friday's show or Friday morning, I locked in Florida to win the Stanley Cup, plus 1,000, which I did give out. There it is. I gave it out on Friday. And what do the Florida Panthers do in their first game right after I lock that in? They go and smash Tampa Bay 9-2 in Tampa Bay's home arena. And yeah, feel pretty happy that I have that ticket for Florida to win the cup. Now, obviously, it's one game. We've seen what they've done all season long. And if that's the way they're going to play down the stretch, you can get used to me having Florida bets if they're going to continue to play that way heading into the break. Buffalo Sabres, Minnesota Wild. For some reason, this Wild team struggles with Buffalo. Buffalo has won 6 of the last 7, and now 7 of the last 8. They were able to get to tie up the game late with around 30 seconds left, go to overtime, and they got the win. A frustrating loss for the Wild, who really need those points, but a 3-2 overtime win for the Sabres. Anaheim Ducks, Toronto Maple Leafs. Toronto saw what Florida was doing and said, hey, if you're going to put on a show, so are we. The Toronto Maple Leafs, they got a 9-2 win as well. Same score over the Anaheim Ducks. Just an absolute beatdown here between these teams. Here in this game, Ovechkin anytime goal. Unfortunately, his goal streak did end, but Yuri Slafkovsky, his point streak continues. He is not a bust. A lot of people are calling him a bust, but they're not saying that anymore. He is on a nice streak here. Believe it's 8 straight games. I've been on him for 2 or 3. Spoiler alert, I'll be on him on his next game. Picks and Parlays exclusive play in this game was the over 6. Thank you to the people that bought that for riding with me, and it was a nice winner there with a 4-3 win for Washington. So a nice winner there on the over 6. Flyers and Devils. A lot of people were talking about unders in the outdoor games. I did not go with the under, and I'm glad I didn't. Obviously, a 6-3 Devils win, and then we're seeing what's happening right now with the Rangers and Islanders. So maybe unders aren't always necessarily the play in outdoor games lately. Winnipeg Jets, Vancouver Canucks. This was a push. It was looking great after the first period, 0-0, and I was feeling pretty happy. Obviously, with how the Jets have been playing recently, just not scoring a lot. So this was looking really good. Unfortunately, it did end up pushing. Carolina Hurricanes, Vegas Golden Knights. I backed Carolina Friday night. I did end up pulling the trigger on Vegas and unfortunately lost. However, if you did check the spreadsheet, Nicholas Waugh to get a point was plus 135, which is insane for the run he and Marchessault and Ivan Barbashev are on. So I cashed on Nicholas Waugh, and then I also same game parlayed the 3 for a nice plus price as well. 1 goal from Vegas, but it was that line. Marchessault from Waugh and Barbashev. So a nice cash there to offset the loss with Vegas money line. And to finish off the night, this game, I should have pulled the trigger. I was kind of saying to people with all the games on today's on Saturday's slate, there was no reason to bet this game, and I did consider a couple plays. Goudreau continued his assist streak for the Blue Jackets, and then I was looking at a Sharks player, but that didn't cash. So glad I stayed away from this game with all the games on the slate. I'm glad I stayed away from that one. Quickly, we will take a look at the standings, and then we'll jump into the chat, and then we will get on with Monday slate. I know a lot to go through with a big weekend here. In the Atlantic, Florida now in first place with 76 points. Boston second with 75. Toronto around 9 points back from Boston with 66. And I'm sure Toronto Maple Leafs fans would prefer to face Boston than Florida in the first round if playoffs were to start today. I'm sure that's the case. Rangers in first with 73. Carolina with 69. Philadelphia with 65 in the Metro. Tampa Bay with the top wildcard spot, 65. Detroit with 62. New Jersey, 2 points behind with 60. Islanders, who are currently winning 4-3, looking to keep pace with these teams just above them. Washington with 56, not out of the race yet. Pittsburgh with 55. They have some games in hand, so they are not out of it yet either. A big game for them coming against LA later tonight. Buffalo and Montreal with 52, not mathematically out of it, but in all realistic, they'd have to jump quite a few teams here to get into playoff spot. Ottawa, Columbus. Columbus starting to they're closer to Ottawa, so I was kind of saying on previous shows that Columbus was going to be on an island by themselves, but kind of creeping up here to the Ottawa Senators, who lost to the Chicago Blackhawks. Um, did I? Yeah, I completely forgot to mention that when I broke down that or when I recapped that game. Chicago continues their dominance over the Ottawa Senators. So a lot of people say that past history stats that I break down a lot on this show don't matter. They definitely do, as we see. Of course, they don't. It's not a guarantee or anything, but they do. Past history stats do matter. Dallas is in first with 75 here in the Central. Winnipeg with 71, 3 games in hand. Colorado with 70. Vancouver, number one team in the NHL with 80 points. Vegas with 68. Edmonton with 65. Edmonton's got 3 games in hand on Vegas and 5 games on hand on Vancouver. So a lot of games probably coming up soon for the Oilers. Looking at the wild card race, LA with 62, playing against Pittsburgh later on. St. Louis with 60. Nashville with 58. Minnesota and Seattle with 56. So 4 points separate just these 4 teams here. Calgary's there with 55. I do expect them to start to drop off a bit here. Arizona, they're on an island on their own, kind of there with 50. And then the bottom feeders that are competing for the first overall pick are there. But now we'll finally jump into the chat. I'm sorry, everyone, for the long recap. Let's go. Yes, let's go. We are about to start. Terry, ... Hello, Nicholas. Hope you're enjoying your Islanders outdoor game. What's up, Terry? Hello, Kev. Let's go. Yes. Blackhawks and Red Wings cashed. There you go. There you go. Need New York Islanders to hold on here. This game shouldn't be 4-3. Yeah, I saw the Islanders are out shooting. The Rangers are a lot. But Rangers are starting to score. Earl, I think New York Islander analytics were misleading. I mean, they have changed style to be more aggressive since Patrick Waugh, and Rangers power play is like 2 for the last 18, something awful like that. The line for team totals for each team flipped 5 minutes before the game to plus money. Over 3.5 New York Rangers, minus 152 suddenly. Islanders cashed. Crazy. The outdoor East Coast weather is apparently perfect for the ice conditions. There you go. Smash the like. Thank you, Tommy. Much appreciated. Not going to be talking too much about goalies because we only have one confirmed, and that's Stuart Skinner for Edmonton. Otherwise, on tomorrow's slate, we do not have any confirmed goaltenders, so I won't really be talking much about goalies. We will jump into the very first game here, which is happening 12:30 p.m. Eastern between the Anaheim Ducks and the Buffalo Sabres. Anaheim plus 155 to plus 165. Buffalo minus 187 to minus 192. Home favorites, 6.5s right across the board in this one. And just right off the bat, looking at these odds, I don't think Anaheim should be as big of dogs here as they are. I get it. Buffalo's at home. Buffalo's off a win, but as we've seen this year, they are not very good at winning multiple games in a row. Yes, Buffalo should be favorites, but I don't think they should be this big of favorites. Anaheim 4-3-1 in their last 8 games, 2 over, 1 under one game finished with 6 goals. Buffalo, they've won 4 of their last 7, 4-3. 4 of their last 5 games going under 5.5. They have been getting very good goaltending from Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen when he's in net. Buffalo's won 3 of the last 5 games between the teams, 3 overs, 1 under, 1 game finished with 6 goals. In this one, no single plays for me. Yes, I just said I don't think Anaheim should be as big of underdogs as they are in this game, but I'm not confident that Anaheim's going to win this game. I think it's kind of more of a coin flip. So different people have different betting styles. I know some people, because of the price, would maybe take the Anaheim Ducks here, and I'm not going to tell anyone not to. But for me, not a game I want to pull the trigger on. And spoiler alert: if you were looking for a lot of sides, um, don't have a whole lot here when it comes to teams to win on this Monday slate. Looking at player props for this game, Frank Petrano has a point, 6 of his last 7 for the Anaheim Ducks. Ryan Strome has a point in 3 of his last 4. And JJ Peterka for Buffalo has at least 3 shots on goal in 8 straight games. He continues to shoot the puck. We all know Anaheim gives up a lot of shots. And as we saw in the game against Toronto, they can definitely give up a lot of goals as well. So I would be adding JJ Peterka over 3 or more shots to a parlay if you were looking for a parlay piece here, but not much for me in this game. Who will be in net for Arizona versus Edmonton after tonight? Who knows? Who knows? But I have a play in that game anyway. So ultimately, it doesn't really matter to me in that one. But we'll jump into our second game of the day, which is starting 1 p.m. Eastern. As I said, a lot of afternoon games for Monday, and that's why we're doing the show today. Dallas Stars plus 105 to plus 110. Boston minus 120 to minus 130. Sixes right across the board. It does look like North Star has a 5.5 in this game. How are these teams playing recently? Well, Dallas has been hot. 7-1-1 in their last 9 games, 6 overs, 2 unders, 1 game, finished with 6 goals. Went to overtime in their last game. Boston has lost 4 of their last 5 games, 5 of their last 6 games going under 5.5. So Dallas trending towards the over, Boston trending towards the under. Boston has gone to overtime in 2 of their last 3 games. How did these teams play against each other in the past? Well, it's very one-sided, and obviously these teams face each other twice per year, so this goes back quite a long time. Boston 11-1-2 in the last 14 games between the teams, 10 of the last 12 going under 5.5. So when these teams face each other, we get very low-scoring games, and Boston finds a way to get the win. And just looking at this game here, obviously I want to bet Dallas. Dallas is the team that's in better form right now, but Boston's domination over them, Boston's lost 4 in a row. Do I see Boston losing 5 in a row? I don't. I think we get a really good effort from Boston. I think Boston dictates the pace in this game. And because I think Boston dictates the pace, I think we'll get a lower scoring game. So I have the under 6 minus 115. As I said, Boston has been really trending towards the under. Heavy pass history stats to the under. Yes, Dallas has been an over team, but I think this can be one of the spots where they do go under. Having said that, I am taking Mason Marchment over half a point. Not sure what it's going to be priced at because they're facing Boston. It's probably going to be plus 120, plus 125. It was plus 115 last game. I will take it again. Even though I'm on the under here, Marchment has been really, really hot lately, especially with Matt Duchene. Marchment has a point in 9 straight games for the Dallas Stars. Matt Duchene has a point in 8 of his last 9. Thomas Harley has a point in 3 of his last 4. And the main player consistent for Boston, no big surprise, David Pastrnak has a point in 7 of his last 8. Otherwise, nobody's really consistent for Boston right now. And that's one of the reasons why they um, or their games are going under here. So that's what I will play in this game. We will move on along. I know we may not have a very active chat today. Obviously, a lot of people are watching the games that are on, but that's all good. Thanks to everyone that are watching after the show is done. I appreciate it. Toronto Maple Leafs and and thanks to everyone watching live as well. Toronto Maple Leafs and St. Louis Blues. Toronto minus 155 to minus 162. St. Louis plus 125 to plus 143. 6.5s right across the board here between these teams. How have these teams been doing recently? Well, Toronto has won 7 of their last 9 games. So Toronto starting to heat up a bit here. 4 of their last 5 games going over 6.5. St. Louis 3-3 in their last 6, winning some, losing some. They've gone over 6.5 in 3 of their last 4 games. Toronto 4-1-1 in the last 6 meetings between the teams. As I said, when these teams faced each other in Toronto, usually St. Louis does well in Toronto, but otherwise Toronto does better in St. Louis. 5 of the last 6 meetings went over 6.5. Both teams trending towards the over right now. Both teams trended towards the over in the past. I locked in the over 6.5 for plus 100. It's right now minus 101, minus 105. So hasn't moved much. I like the over 6.5 here. I think we get goals. I'm not going to compare Anaheim and St. Louis, but Toronto definitely has the offense to push this game over. Matthews is on a heater. He's getting hat tricks, it seems like, every other night. So I'll take the over 6.5 here. Player props. Who's hot for Toronto? No big surprise. Austin Matthews, a point in 11 of his last 12. Mitch Marner, a point in 11 of his last 12. William Nylander, a point in 5 of his last 6. And then for the Blues, Robert Thomas has an assist in 9 of his last 11 games. And Jordan Kyrou has a goal in 5 of his last 7. If you same game parlayed those in the Blues last game, you would win because that's what happened. Kyrou scored, assisted from Thomas. So if you're looking at those, you could always parlay those together for a nice big plus price. I see goals here. Should be on both sides in this one. Tyler Seguin began his career in Boston. Yes, I know I should take him too. It's just a couple games where he's not as consistent as Marchment and Duchesne right now. He is still playing very well. But if he does have a great night, well, I'm going to cash Marchment point because they play together. So he can have a great night if he'd like. Blues as a home dog. St. Louis is 12-4 as home dogs this year. 12-3, and then they lost against the Predators. So, but there you go. They're still up. Over 6.5 and sprinkle on Blues money line. Puck drop at MetLife for third period. Go Isles. There you go. Afternoon game performances can be different than night games. That's true as well. That's true as well. I know some teams do better than others. I don't have the list of who does better than others, though. But we will move on along to our next game, which is an interesting one. We've got the Vancouver Canucks and the Minnesota Wild here in this one. Vancouver minus 119 to minus 125. Minnesota plus 100 to plus 105. 6s and 6.5s available here in this game. How these teams been playing recently? Vancouver 5-2-1 in their last 8 games, coming off a loss to Winnipeg. Finally, Winnipeg scored some goals. It's been a while since they scored more than 2. They got 4 goals, 4-2 win there. Vancouver 2 overs, 4 unders, 1 game finished with 6 goals. Minnesota 4-0-1 in their last 5. They did have their win streak snapped against Buffalo. Did get the overtime point, which is important. Minnesota's gone under 5.5 in 6 of their last 7 games, getting good goaltending from Fleury and from Gus overall. What's happened when these teams have faced each other? Minnesota 7-1 in the last 8 meetings. They've had a lot of success against this Vancouver Canucks team. The team split the 2 games this year. 3 of the last 4 games in Minnesota between these teams have gone to overtime. So we could see the draw here. But the main stat for me, the last 4 meetings between these teams have gone under 3.5. 3.5. So both meetings this year, the final 2 meetings last year, all went under 3.5. Minnesota's gone under 5.5 in 6 of their last 7 games. Yes, the Canucks went over in their last game, but they've been trending towards the under. This game should not be at a 6.5. And as soon as I saw this, I jumped on it right away at FanDuel minus 122. We still do see 6.5s out there, and that's just wrong. This should be a 5.5, not be 6.5. So when you're getting a whole number, a whole full goal advantage, of course, I had to jump on this game here. Who wins? Obviously, we all know who I hope wins. The Wild have been winning games lately, other than the Buffalo game, and the Wild have had a lot of success against the Canucks. Just looking at it as a whole on the season, when you get the Canucks at this great of a price, I can't blame anyone for taking the Canucks, especially off a loss. But I think the play here is the under 6.5 in this one. Player props. Elias Pettersson is a 0.6 of his last 9. Niels Höglander, a 0.4 of his last 5. And Vancouver's not really getting consistent offense from top to bottom right now. Matt Boldy did see his point streak end in the last game. He has points in 7 of his last 10 games, at least 4 shots on goal in 5 of his last 7, and a goal in 3 of his last 4 games. Kirill Kaprizov, Joel Eriksson both got points in Minnesota's last game. Both have points in 10 of their last 12. Those 3 Wild players all play together. Those are the players I'd look at. Faber, a couple games in a row, hasn't got a point, so maybe he is not going cold, but not going to be on my list here because I don't see a lot of goals. Do I think this goes under 3.5? That's tough. That's tough. So that's why 4 games in a row under 3.5. I have to take the under 6.5 here. But it won't shock me if we see someone win 2-1 or 2-0. That's what we've seen before. Islanders scored 5-3 lead for the over the Rangers. 5-3 Isles. Romanov goal. Did Palmieri get an assist? Can anyone let me know? Because I cashed the same game parlay. I had Palmieri, Dobson, and Barzal together. So let me know if I cashed the same game parlay with. Let me know if I cashed. Peter Laviolette will soon be 0 for 4 or 5 in outdoor games. Hey, that's an interesting stat. It is tough to win outdoor games. Gustafsson has problems stopping the puck. Yeah, but game's still Romano from Dobson. Damn. Wow, Dobson was like the 4-point game for him or something today. But I need Palmieri. Yeah, it is what it is. Who will be in net for the Wild in this game? Who knows? Because the Wild face Winnipeg the next on Tuesday night. So this could be Gus, it could be Flower. As I said, doesn't really matter to me. Wild games have been going under. And Gustafsson, while I was a little bit peed off with him for the loss against Buffalo, he's not a horrible goalie or anything. His coaching style is bad. Peter Laviolette. Yeah, I can see that. Dobson for Norris. Calm down, Nicholas. Calm down. Quinn Hughes. Sorry. It is what it is. But we'll move on along to our next game. New York Rangers for our first round exit. Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me. Unless they need to make a trade or a couple trades. But our next game is between the Detroit Red Wings and the Seattle Kraken. Detroit plus 105 to plus 112. Seattle minus 123 to minus 130. Sixes right across the board in this game. How have these teams been doing recently? Well, Detroit 4-2-1 in their last 7 games. 4 of their last 7 games going under 5.5. Seattle 3-3 in their last 6. 5 straight games going under 5.5 for the Kraken. Seattle 4-0-1 all time against Detroit. So 1 overtime loss, 4 wins against the Red Wings. 3 of the 5 games going to overtime. So we usually get close games between these teams and high scoring ones. So both teams trending towards the under right now. But 3 games went over 6. 2 games finished with 6 goals when these teams have faced each other before. Player props: Patrick Kane has a point, 5 of his last 6 games. JT Compher has a point, 8 of his last 10. David Perron has a point in 6 of his last 9 for the Detroit Red Wings. They were all on the same line heading into their last game. I would assume that's still the case. All 3 scored a goal against the Calgary Flames: Perron, Compher, and Kane. So that's kind of interesting there. But for me in this game, I have 2 props here for Seattle. Not sure what the prices are yet. But Jared McCann has a point in 10 of his last 11 games. And I believe he was around minus 110 his last game. So as long as it's minus 125 or better, I'll be on McCann to get a point. And then Joey Decord, if he is in net, I will be taking his saves prop. I have 29.5 listed over there. But the last game it was 26.5. So you may get a lower number, but I'd go up to 29.5 if that's the number. Joey Decord has at least 30 saves in 8 of his last 11 games. The Kraken, for some reason, when Decord's in net, they seem to feel like he's been great all year. Let's just let him have the pucks. Decord's been cashing in the second period. So I will be all over that. His saves prop if Decord is confirmed. He also has at least 30 saves in 13 of his last 18 games. So that is a prop that I've cashed on in a couple of games and one that I will continue to take here for the Seattle Kraken. Red Wings money line. Let's go. Hey, they have been playing well. Both of these teams kind of in the same position where they're outside. I think the Red Wings are actually in a playoff spot right now, but both of these teams are fighting for their playoff lives, trying to make the playoffs. Patrick Kane 88 was plus 140 for an assist. Very nice. Very nice. Detroit has to score over 3.5 to win this game. And it's tough to score 4 goals against the Kraken and Joey Decord if he is confirmed. That is a tough thing to do. Not easy. But we will jump on along to our next game here, which is between the Vegas Golden Knights and the San Jose Sharks. Vegas minus 265 to minus 275. San Jose plus 220 to plus 231. Sixes, 5.5s available here in this game. How these teams been doing recently? Vegas 4-3 in their last 7. So just a little bit over 500. Coming off back-to-back losses. Obviously, they had the loss against Minnesota, and then they blew that lead against Carolina in the third period and lost to the Hurricanes in their last game. Now they head on the road here to face the Sharks. San Jose 2-3-1 in their last 6, 4 of their last 7 games, going under 5.5. And when Vegas is looking for a win, this is the team they want to face. And not just because the Sharks are one of the bottom teams in the league this year, but because Vegas is San Jose's daddy. That's just how it is. Vegas 18-1-3 in the last 22 meetings between these teams. Vegas has just had success since they joined the NHL. They just play San Jose very well. 2 of the last 4 games have gone to overtime, though. So we do see some close games between these teams. 4-3-1 to a total of 6. So in this one here, no real edge for me on the total. When I look at the sides, Vegas money line, I like as a parlay piece. I don't think Vegas loses this game. I do think they bounce back, but I'm not positive they win by 2. So I would go with Vegas money line as a parlay piece, but I'm going right back to Nicholas Waugh to get a point. Plus 135 against the Hurricanes. He's not going to be plus 135 here, but against San Jose, I think minus 110, maybe plus 100 we should get somewhere around there, possibly. But as long as it's minus 125 or better, I'll be on Nicholas Waugh. And I will have a same game parlay with Nicholas Waugh, Jonathan Marchessault, and Ivan Barbashev together. That line has been Vegas's best and most consistent line. I think they can produce here against the San Jose Sharks. For the Sharks, William Eklund was on a bit of a streak there, but that got snapped in his last game. And Vegas is in a back-to-back like Minnesota, so not sure who will be in net here. If it is Adin Hill, back-to-back games where he's given up at least 3, I think we see a good game from him. So I wouldn't really look at Sharks props in this game. Marchessault is plus 110 to score. Yeah, that's a decent price, but I'll probably just have his point in a parlay with. I think we can get a better price with Nicholas Waugh to get a point, but which is easier because he can score or get an assist. So that's probably how I'll look at this one. Heading along to our next game here, which is the Winnipeg Jets and the Calgary Flames. Winnipeg minus 127 to minus 130. Calgary plus 105 to plus 110. Sixes, there are 5.5s available as well. If you were looking at the total in this game, how are these teams done recently? Winnipeg 3-4-1 in their last 8 games, are coming off a win against Vancouver. 1 over, 10 unders, 2 games finished with 6 goals. The Jets have been an under machine until their last game. Calgary 4-7 in their last 11. They lose 4 in a row, they win 4 in a row, they lose 4 in a row. That's kind of what they've been doing lately. 3 of their last 5 games going over 6.5. So the Flames trending towards the under or the over. The Jets heavily trending towards the under. Calgary 4-2 in the last 6 meetings between the teams. 5 of the last 6 did go under 5.5. So with this game, no single plays for me. I'm not taking the under here. And the reason why is Winnipeg finally got some goals against the Vancouver Canucks in their last game. And it wouldn't shock me to see them continue that offense here against the Flames. So this is one of the ones where I want to look towards the under, but I think I'm going to stay off. Looking at player props here, Mark Scheifele has a point in 3 of his last 4 games, at least 3 shots on goal in 4 straight. For the Flames, obviously both didn't get a point in their last game, with the Flames getting shut out. Nazem Kadri has a point in 14 of his last 18. Noah Hannafin a point in 4 of his last 6. Not a whole lot for me in this game. Most likely this game will be one where I probably don't touch either parlay pieces. And I just completely stay off this game, most likely. On along to our next one, we've got the Edmonton Oilers and the Arizona Coyotes. Edmonton minus 225 to minus 240. Arizona plus 185 to plus 195. 6.5s right across the board in this game. How these teams been doing recently? Edmonton 3-3 in their last 6. 4 of their last 5 games going over 6.5. We're seeing a little bit of inconsistency from this Oilers team since their win streak ended, and we're starting to see a little bit more goals than what we were. Edmonton on that extreme win streak they had was getting goaltending. It wasn't scoring as much, playing better defensively. Now they're kind of going back towards their old ways here. Arizona has to play Colorado tonight, so this will be the second night of a back-to-back for them. The Yotes 0-7-1 in their last 8 games, 8 losses in a row. They've been losing those games by multiple goals. 5-3-1 to a total of 6, so 5 overs, 3 unders, 1 game finished with 6 goals. The Oilers have absolutely loved to face the Yotes. 8-1 in the last 9 games between the teams. 7 overs, 1 under, 1 game finished with 6 goals. And this is my Picks and Parlays exclusive play. So I do have a play in this game over on Picks and Parlays, $25. You can get it there. Link is in the description below. If it loses, you get your $25 back, stored credit to use on some either my play or someone else's plays over on the site. So if you want that play, Picks and Parlays exclusive play over on the site. My bad on Nick McNabb block suggestion. Their right side are the shot blockers, White Cloud and Petrangelo mostly, and even forward penalty killer Mark Stone. There you go. Knobloch shuffled the lines and put Leon and McJesus together with the Warm. I know. I was shocked when I saw that in the last game. But we will move on along to our next one here, which is between the Chicago Blackhawks and the Carolina Hurricanes. Chicago plus 340 to plus 360. Carolina minus 430 to minus 450. 5.5s, and DraftKings has a 6 in this game. If you're looking at the total, how these teams been doing recently? Well, Chicago did win their last game, so they've got that 1-7-1 in their last 9 games. 1 over, 5 unders, 1 game finished with 6 goals. Carolina, they've won 10 of their last 14. 1 over, 6 unders, 2 games finished with 6 goals. So both teams heavily trending towards the under right now. What's happened in the past? Carolina 7-0-1 against the Blackhawks, which really shouldn't surprise anybody. 5 of the last 8 games going over 6.5. So past history is towards the over. Both teams trending towards the under right now. For me, it's Philip Kurashev to get a point. I'm not exactly sure what that's going to be priced at. Probably around minus 110. Actually, because they're facing the Hurricanes here, we could get plus 115, plus 120, something like that. So make sure to check out the odds tomorrow. Why am I taking this? Well, he's got a point in 5 straight games. So that's 3 games before Bedard came back. And then since Bedard's come back, obviously playing with Bedard has helped him. But I like that he was on this streak before Bedard, and now Bedard's just adding to that. So 5 straight games for Kurashev. And I do believe we're going to get a very nice price with his point prop. Connor Bedard also has a point in both games since he's returned. For Carolina, Seth Jarvis, point in 9 of his last 10. Marty Necas, a point in 9 of his last 12. At least 4 shots in goal in 7 of his last 11. Sebastian Aho, 0.7 of his last 11, but is going a little bit cold lately. So I would potentially stay away from Aho. Look at Necas and Jarvis for Carolina. Look at Kurashev and Bedard for Chicago in this game. I know, shocking. I'm on a Blackhawks prop, but hey, money is money. I'll take it. Mrazek returns versus his former team. That's a very interesting angle as well, and that's another reason why I didn't pull the trigger on the under here, is because I want to see who's in net. This is a situation where it matters who's in net. If I'm going to go for an under. Other games, I'm fine with taking the totals without knowing who's in net, but this game I need to know. Uh, Kind of for both goalies, but more for Chicago. What about Bedard anytime goal? Uh, I'll stick with Kurashev because he's the better price, and I don't want to bet on Bedard because, yes, I'm a homer, but I want Faber to win the Calder. So the less points Bedard gets, the better. But if you want to take it, best of luck, Kev. He is going to win the Calder, unfortunately, just because of the points he's going to get. Carolina CF matchup with Chicago is a dream for SF props, save props. Oh, okay, Mrazek saves. I can see that. We'll have to see if he's a net for this one, because then I might ultimately get to the under. But Kershaw point is my favorite point. My favorite prop in this game. So this game's at 7 at night. These are only two night games. Is that one Carolina, Chicago, and this one to finish the night off, Ottawa Senators, Tampa Bay Lightning. Ottawa plus 140 to plus 147. Home road dogs. Tampa Bay minus 165 to minus 170. Home favorites. Sevens right across the board. Did see some 6.5s at minus 140 when these lines opened. Now we're seeing sevens everywhere between these teams, which really shouldn't surprise anybody with how they played this year. Ottawa, 4-2 in their last 6 games, coming off back-to-back losses against Anaheim and Chicago. If you are trying to get your hopes up to potentially go on a chase to try to make the playoffs, you had to win those 2 games against Anaheim and Chicago. And they didn't do that. 4 overs, 2 unders, 1 game finished with 6 goals. Tampa, 3-3 in their last 6. So they're a little bit inconsistent right now as well. 3 overs, 1 under, 1 game finished with 6 goals. What's happened when these teams have faced each other recently? Tampa Bay 4-3 in the last 7. So it's kind of back and forth. It's pretty even when these teams have faced each other. However, we have seen goals. The last 6 meetings, all over 6.5. 9 of the last 11 over 6.5. I do think we get goals in this game. Right now, no single plays for me. I'm not going to take the over. I could potentially get to some player props here. Looking at player props for this game, Brady Tkachuk has at least 4 shots on goal in 6 of his last 7. I would absolutely take Tkachuk 3+ shots in a parlay as a parlay piece. He has a goal in 5 of his last 8. Didn't score in his last game. Probably going to get to him in this game. We'll have to see tomorrow. Check the spreadsheet in the link in the description below. If it's highlighted in green, like the other props that I've given out, then you know I'm taking it as a single play. Claude Giroux is a point in 6 of his last 7 games. He's got a goal in 4 of his last 6 for the Senators. My 2 favorite props lately has been more so Brandon Hagel, but Brandon Hagel, a point in 9 straight games, 15 of his last 17 for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Unfortunately, it's around minus 150 most of the time. So that would have to be a parlay piece, but he's done it in 9 straight games. It's one I keep cashing on. It is a prop that I like there. Anthony Cirelli, who plays with him, has a point in 8 of his last 9 games and 10 of his last 12. So he's a great prop as well. And Nikita Kucherov, who gets partnered with them sometimes. Other times, obviously, he's on the top line, top power play. He is a point in 10 straight games for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa Bay, despite getting smashed by Florida, we're still able to get 2 goals and all of those 3 props cashed. So I got a cash same game parlay in that game, despite Tampa only getting 2 goals. And that's a good thing to mention too, is Tampa Bay did just get smashed by Florida. Florida, Ottawa, completely different teams, especially defensively. I think Tampa Bay could potentially beat up this Ottawa Senators team pretty badly in this game if they really come to play like they should after their last loss. So um, this game to be determined, but going to be looking at props most likely in this one. I do think we get goals. Oh, Corsi for, Corsi gets. Okay, I got it. Tarasenko has been shooting the puck lately. 1-0 Colorado, which is exactly what I want to hear because I'm on the over 6.5 in that game. My only play of the day today. So give me goals, goals, goals there. Nick Paul, former senator, plays with Sorelli and Hagel. Oof. That's good info, Tommy. That's good info. May have to look at Nick Paul tomorrow. Anytime goal. I might definitely get to that. So check the spreadsheet in the link in the description below. If you want my premium play in the Edmonton, Arizona game on Picks and Parlays, link is also in the description below. But that's it. That's a show for Monday. Thanks everyone for watching. Hit the like and subscribe button if you're new to the channel. If you're watching Sunday night or Monday morning, thanks for watching as well. And as I said, check the spreadsheet for any changes or any additions that I might make. But best of luck on the rest of your Sunday slate, everyone. And we'll see you Tuesday at normal time for another episode. Getting Well with Terry and Friends, free NHL picks. What's up, Terry? Thank you for the show. I'm usually going back and watching, hitting that like button. Thanks, Stop Geo. Much appreciated. Nick Paul's plus 290 for anytime goal. I would look at that former team, and he's playing with 2 guys that are like on fire when they touch the puck. So I could see that. Job well done, Terry. Thank you, Kev. Much appreciated. And thanks. Best of luck. Yes. Best of luck, everyone. We'll see you on Tuesday.